Welcome back, baseball fans. This is the eliminating the Cincinnati Reds video after a very troubling and disappointing World Series where they went 0 for and they lost to the Orioles. Actually, lost worse than they did in the 1970 World Series because they didn't even win a game. And the other thing is, at the end of the World Series Game 4, I noticed that I had been looking at the stats for the Reds had been miscalculated in that spreadsheet because for some reason my stat migration had double counted the stats in the divisional rounds and then the championship round. So when I commented about the number of saves for Franco, wins for Gullett, and so forth, that those numbers, and Johnny Bench's 30 homers, that unfortunately that was also wrong. It was, these are the stats here. Johnny Bench finishes with 24 home runs, and that seems about right because I was keeping a mental track of that when he hit 20, 21, 22, 23, and I said, man, I can't. I looked at that number 30 and I said, I don't remember those 6 home runs. So, yeah, he finishes with 24 home runs and 48 RBIs, hit 284. This is the final correct stats. Gullett was a 9-game winner with a 4.64 ERA, 13 saves for Franco. Looking at it all together here, Rose's average is a little lower than it probably what it should have been. Lee May had 8 homers. Perez had 12 homers, but his average is a low, 256. The team hit 273. Granger did do an outstanding job in the bullpen, 5-1 in 34 innings. Dave Schmidt was an outstanding setup guy, 21 innings with an ERA of 171. Probably should have been used more. Franco's ERA is a little deceiving because of him having to pitch in blowout games. When normally, when you're getting blown out 26-8, you might have a position player pitch to get the game over with. And so sometimes guys unceremoniously, like Jim Maloney, also got lit up to a 4.57 ERA. Soto was 7-4. The team ERA 4.37. Like I said before, it jumped from under 4 to over 4 just in that one game when they gave up 26 earned runs. So that took their ERA 40 points past where it was. Looking at all the numbers here, the Reds can do better, believe it or not. As much as great as their pre-World Series role was, I think this team can even do better. I think Pete Rose is that card. It's 348. He only hit 305. Carbo, well, you can't ask for more than that, I guess. Perez only hit 256 with that card. That's a 295 card. Bench, yeah, I guess you can't ask any more out of Johnny Bench than from that. And because of that, I'm going to look at last year's Cincinnati stats. And last year, they got knocked out in the divisional round. They were 23-18. You notice the ERA is 4, and it's actually about the same as if you can imagine them not getting blown out by 26 runs in one of their games during the year. Batting average is about a point different. And look at the very top line last year. I failed to mention, guess who won the Most Valuable Player award? Yep, it was Johnny Bench. So he won it last year and this year, 2-time MVP now. Pete Rose card at 309 last year and 305 this year, which means that's like 40 points below what that card is supposed to bat. It's a 348 Pete Rose card. Lee May's on track. Tolan's on track. They had Dave Stewart last year from the 80s, and he pitched really well for him. Soto had a great year. Soto had a great 4-year run with the Reds. He won that 81-84 World Series. He had 9 wins last year, and he pitched well this year. And that is your story of the Reds. So let's see who goes away from the Reds. They'll be back, folks. Lee May's sticking around. Conigliaro, Pavlotek. Now, Concepcion will leave for a moment, but they have the rights to him, and he may be a rookie for them next year, as he played for the Reds in the early 70s. We like Tommy Helms' great defense. Tom Foley's career is over. Carbo. Eric David's career is over. Tolan, Rose, Perez, Johnny Bench. We have a couple more years of that front bench card. Franco, his career will be over. Gullet, just getting started with that 71 card. Butcher's career is over. Nice run again out of Mario Soto. Nice career there. Maloney, Granger. Even Juan Agosto somehow managed to stay in the league with this card. Even with all that damage it gives up against righties. Dave Schmidt will leave as well. So, of these 8 cards, do any come back? I think I already did that analysis while I was turning them. Schmidt and Agosto and Soto and Butcher and Franco and Davis and Foley are all no. But Concepcion will be on Cincinnati's wish list to play shortstop, and he'll be a better defensive player, and I think he'll be a better hitter too in the early 70s. So that's something to wish for the Reds. So let's see how the Reds get back to the World Series after that crushing defeat. They're going to have sticks. All right. The 2-time MVP Johnny Bench. Now remember, it's the 1970 card. So this card has been in the league 2 years and has won 2 MVP awards. He's halfway through it. He's got 2 more cracks with this card. This could be one of the... can you imagine this card being a 4-time MVP? It can certainly happen. He's catching. Lee May at first. Helms at second. Tony Perez at third. These are all the usual suspects. We're going to have Concepcion at short. Carbo and Canigliaro come platoon in left. Tolan in center. Pete Rose in right. And Pavlitek your DH. You need nothing. You are set for offense. And then you can just, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus Concepcion is 10. You need 2 more guys to be DH, and I don't know where else. You have no other weaknesses. I guess a left-handed DH with Pavlitek, and if Concepcion wants to platoon with somebody at shortstop, they can do that. So the work that needs to be done is with the pitching. And that's where they really did come up short. Even though Gullet is an ace, he's not great versus righties. He's very good versus righties. And that got exposed in the World Series and when the Orioles beat him twice. Can they do better than this? No. I'm not going to really find a guy better than Gullet. I'm just saying that they need to get, 4 good starters. And if you recall, the Reds, well, they had Jim Merritt, Gary Nolan, Jack Billingham, Fred Norman. They didn't really have any what you would call stoppers. What Sparky Anderson was doing was just kind of shuffling through his bullpen. And they just demolished the opponent with their sticks. So Gullet and Maloney, this is pretty cool. Maloney's going to get us one more crack with a 69 card. He has one more chance next year to get a World Series ring. And Granger, also a 69 card. Though Granger, even after next year, they can upgrade Granger because he's still pitching for the Reds in 70-71. Then he moves to the Twins in 72, I believe. So you do need 5 guys, and you do need 2 lefties. So there is work to be done, but I would concentrate all work on the pitching. Okay, here we are with the Reds starting in 72, a World Series team that lost in 7 to the A's. As we go back, we're only going to have one bad season here. The Reds are going to be good 3 out of these 4 years with Sparky Anderson. Now, as we go through the players in 72, hello, Joe Morgan. The Astros are saying, nope, not yet. We ain't trading yet. We're holding on to Morgan. The Astros have Morgan on their team right now, and they're not going to trade him anytime soon. And what's interesting is 71 Tommy Helms is also very good in the field. So it might be that the Reds have to wait for the Joe Morgan era to start. But don't worry, he'll be there by 75, 76 when he's amazing. And his era might go longer in the 4-year carryover league. with the Reds. So that's the way it goes. You can be, for instance, Roberto Clemente. Just a quick commentary. Roberto Clemente will be playing in my league till 1975. So the tragedy gets averted because he has a card in 72, and he'll be in the 72, 73, 74, 75 carryover league. That's kind of the benefit of a carryover league in instances like that. So Morgan's just going to have to wait his time. Again, with bench, we have 2 more years with this ridiculous card of his, and Rose's card, and Tolan, and Perez. And here's Gary Nolan with a 3.2 WAR. Probably add him to the rotation. Mankey's on the Astros. Isn't this interesting? Mankey and Morgan are both on the Astros, but by 72 they're both on the Reds. Now Clay Carroll to the bullpen makes a lot of sense. So I got my eyes right now on Clay Carroll and Gary Nolan. Tom Hall is elsewhere. Grimsley, they could use a lefty. I don't know if they'll go with Grimsley or if they can go for Fred Norman, who I think is out there. And Darryl Chaney, and there's Concepcion. Now Concepcion 72 WAR. Let's go check that out. It's not very good. So 72, Concepcion at not good at all. You had 209. The 541 OPS. So I don't bring that card up. I don't think so, unless he's a 1 at short. That would not be a good idea. So maybe we don't add Concepcion. Maybe we look for another shortstop. Let's check down with the pitchers here. There's Grimsley, a left-hander with a 3.05 ERA for the Reds with a 123 whip. So yeah, they could take Grimsley. The Orioles certainly don't need lefties. They've got McNally and Cuellar, and they're going to have McNally and Cuellar for at least through 72 for McNally and 74 for Cuellar. So they really don't need a third left-handed starter for a while, do the Orioles. So I could see Grimsley being brought up through the Reds system. How about Gary Nolan, though? This is an outstanding year for him. A $1.99 ERA, 176 innings. Check. There you go. Grimsley, Nolan. I'd bring those 2 guys up. Clay Carroll is good too. So again, there's good guys for the Reds. So from that 72 World Series team. Now this 71 team only won 79 games and finished in 4th. Let's see if we can find some good guys though. We already have May, Rose, Bench, Perez, Gullett, Helms, Clay Carroll. So this is where you may want to go for the Clay Carroll card. Since you already saw some guys from 72 you like, maybe you get Clay Carroll in 71. Unless Gary Nolan's better in 71, though I doubt it. Foster, you want to wait on that one, of course. McLaughlin, you already have Carbo, and let's check this Concepcion. Maybe he had a bad year in 72 and a better year in 71. Concepcion in 71. No, he didn't. He hit 205. Oh, that's Dale Maxwell territory. So you got to be a 1 or a 2 to justify a 205 average at short. Because we have some, like I said before, the National League shortstops were not very good. And we could be looking at Chris Spire being the National League shortstop in the All-Star game next year. Or Gene Alley. Or Ed Brinkman. I mean, it's just, yeah, the National League shortstops are kind of a joke here. Here's Grimsley again. You have your choice of Grimsleys. Jim Merritt, oh, not a good year for him. And Clay Carroll's good. All right, let's go back now to this World Series team. And as I recall, they have a young man named Wayne Simpson who got hurt and didn't play in the World Series, and his career got cut short, too. Let's see where he is in this list. Bench, Perez, Tolan, Rose, Gary Nolan again, Carbo, McLaughlin's on the Angels, Gullett. There he is, Wayne Simpson. So if they need a righty, this might be the guy. Jim Merritt and Clay Carroll. Let's see. Let's check out Concepcion again. Here you go. This Concepcion, it's 260. That's acceptable. So I think they might go with the 260 hitting Concepcion from this World Series team. But that means if you did that with Concepcion, you can only add 1 more guy from this year. And you might find a couple guys you want to add. Wayne Simpson being one of them with a 14-3 record and a 3.02 ERA. Jim Merritt, interestingly, wins 20 games, but he's got a 4.08 ERA. And Gary Nolan is an 18-game winner, but we've seen him with a lower whip. And in Clay Carroll, I don't think it really matters. Just pick Clay Carroll in the leftover year. Pick all the other guys you want, and then when you have that final pick, just pick Clay Carroll at whichever year is left over in your draft, because he's pretty much the same guy every year. And lastly, let's go back to 69 and see if there's a diamond in the rough. Usually there isn't, because they're already in the league. Rose, Bench, Perez, Tolan, Maloney, Lee May. Alex Johnson is property of the Angels. And yeah, let me just double check how that happened. I'm going to take a quick peek at Alex Johnson here, because he's property of the Angels in 1970. I don't know how he got there. Was he probably a part of a trade? Kind of curious now. Traded by the Cincinnati Reds with Chico Ruiz to the Angels for Pedro Borbon, Vern Geishert, and Jim McLaughlin. Wow. McLaughlin is on the Angels, so the Angels actually have two of these guys on their team at the same time. So it might be a good idea to move either Alex Johnson or McLaughlin to the Reds. Obviously, the Cincinnati outfield is full of studs, so they don't really need that. They could use McLaughlin, though. Anyway, let's go back to this. And again, Gary Nolan, Jim Merritt. This hopefully will be a good Jim Merritt year. Their shortstop is Woody Woodward, and he's on the Expos currently. Darrell Chaney is someplace else, and Chico Ruiz isn't very good. So their middle infield options aren't good. So it seems like they have one shot of Concepcion, and that's that 1970 shot. So that's where you have to make sure you make the right pick in each year. And you'd have to do your research, otherwise you're stuck, and you end up like the Orioles got stuck with a lefty reliever that they didn't even use all year because he was so awful, because there was no other players available in their draft. So Merritt, again, high ERA, 4.37. And then even Clay Carroll, you don't want this one. This is the worst of the Clay Carrolls we've seen. Not much in the pitching department, so let's go to the hitting department. You need a lefty DH. They might just go the free agent route. Well, I've seen enough pitchers for the Reds to know that they're going to be fine, and they'll have a Concepcion and whatever. They're going to be just as good next year as they are this year. They still are using these same ridiculous cards from the 1969 and 70 season for their core. They're not going anywhere. So they got another crack at it. Let me look at Pete Rose just for a moment and just confirm 69 as being... So he didn't win the MVP. He was fourth. He had 348 that year. So guess what happens, folks? After using that card next year, the Reds renew it 4 years later. And look at that. It's 1973. And he's the most valuable player of the National League. So Pete Rose will avoid these lean years here, hitting 316, 304, and 307. And this is why you do a 4-year carryover league. You get 4 years of Pete Rose hitting 348, 348, 348, 348, and then 338. 338, 338, 338. Geez, he'll beat Ty Cobb by the time he's 35 at this rate. That's why you do a 4-year carryover league, because you can really have some really cool cards in your league if you want for 4 years, and it's just a real clever way of making a very highly competitive league with fun cards to use and play. So it's a blast if you can do it right and keep and stick with the rules of making sure you have 8 players from year 1, 6 players from year 2, 4 players from year 3, and 2 players from the rookie year. That's the golden rule. And then you do your research on Baseball Reference and make your plans accordingly. Make your trades, and make trades if necessary and cut and sign players. And yeah. So that's it for the discussion of the Reds. Hopefully we'll see them back next year. I can't imagine them falling apart. They probably won't. And that's it for eliminating the Reds. We'll see you next time.